Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and today's rooting guide is presented by our good friends, Panda Supps. If you haven't already, use code FPittsburgh, FPIT. You're going to get 25% off and a free shaker at pandasupps.com. This deal is only valid until the end of the game against the Raiders and Steelers. So you got until Christmas. Hurry up. Get yourself some awesome holiday stocking stuffers. So coming up here on today's show, we're going to look at Raiders playoff chances. We're going to look at the NFL Week 16 rooting guide. I'm going to tell you all the extra Raiders playoff scenarios, if you will, because Thursday Night Football was a big game for the Silver and Black. And now you got a must-win situation on Saturday against the team that is currently also 6-8, right there in that playoff hunt. But the one thing that I want to know is this: where are my real ones at? If you're subscribed to the Raiders Report, we are approaching 129,000 subs. And if you're already subbed, spam RO4L down below, just because I always love when people watch these shows. Obviously, it's my job. But then when I know people who are part of the Noti Gang, who watch our live shows, who tune in Tuesdays, Thursdays, it doesn't matter what day. Those are the real ones. So here we go. I got some real ones I want to give some shout-outs to. Major love to Jaime Alvarado Sr., Raiderville 13A, Take Flight Task, Mario, and Jake Smith. I see you. I salute you. But most importantly, I know that y'all are real ones. And happy holidays to all of Raider Nation out there. So Raiders, we got some games. 3 left to go. You got to win all 3 of them if you want to keep your playoff hopes alive, unless you really believe in miracles. Steelers at 6-8, the Niners at 10-4, the Chiefs at 11-3. It's not going to be an easy road. But you know what? Sometimes I'm like, maybe that's the better way for this team, because for whatever reason, when you play a bad team, the Raiders play down to that potential, which that's never a good thing. So the Raiders' playoff chances, as it stands right now, 6% chance to make the playoffs. It's not a great percentage, but it's better than nothing. And I went over to the New York Times. They got an awesome simulator over there. They run hundreds of thousands of simulations. If the Raiders finish 9-8, their percentage is at 59% that they are going to make the playoffs, okay? If the Raiders lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers, they have less than a 1% chance to make it. Basically, you ain't going to make it. If the Raiders lose to the Chiefs or to the 49ers, but they win the other 2 games, does that make sense? So essentially you finish 8-9, but you lost to one of these 2 teams, well, then you have a 2% chance to make it. So it's more than 1, but not a lot. Bottom line, you win your next 3 games, you put yourself in the driver's seat to make the playoffs. You still need some other things to happen, which coming up here on the show, I'll tell you about some of these Raiders playoff scenarios, because there's different things that have to happen for the Silver and Black to make it. When you're in the current spot that the Raiders are in at 6-8, you need help. You need help from other people. I'll tell you about those scenarios here in just a second. But remember, today's show is presented by Panda Supps. Panda Supps is owned by a Raider fan. So even if you hate me, that's fine. Go support a Raider fan, because he's been a sponsor here for this show for a long time. And it's the holiday season. You're going to meet a lot of people. There's a lot of traveling. I'm trying to help you guys boost your immune system. Panda Immune Boost. Our immune system may be disrupted by stress. And Raider fans, we know a lot of stress here. When we're stressed, the immune system's ability to fight off toxins could be reduced. Boosting the immune system would help increase natural energy, digest food more efficiently, and just make you feel better throughout the day. With 14 different organic powders, Panda ensures you receive the very best to help naturally boost energy and immune. So if you use code FPIT, 25% off. You're also going to get a free shaker. If you want to get the greens in your life, scan this QR code right here. If you're trying to get into even better shape, well, Panda Supps did just release awesome pre-workout, which, if you haven't heard about it, Pump is an advanced stimulant-free pre-workout loaded with the power of nootropics to help with performance and sustained focus. Pump pre-workout is a perfect for anyone sensitive to stimulants, working out late at night, or cycling off caffeine. This pre-workout will help a massive increase in significant boost in muscle strength and endurance. So if you want the brand new pre-workout, scan the QR code right here. I put both of those links for you guys in the comments. 25% off and a free shaker, code FPIT, because it's F the Steelers. This deal is only valid until the end of the game, Week 16. So let's look at this AFC playoff picture as it stands right now. And friendly reminder that I am recording this video before the Thursday night football game. So some of you are going to watch this live, some of you will not. So when you see that it's the Jets at 7-7, Jacksonville 6-8, don't worry, I will update those later on in the show. In terms of the Raiders' playoff scenarios entering Thursday night football, this is where they stood. And I try to number them out for you. The Chargers must lose 2 of their final 3 games. The Dolphins must lose 2 of their final 3 games. New England must lose 1 of their final 3. The Jets must lose. Jags must lose 1 of their final 3. So basically what needs to happen is either 1 or 2 or both, plus 3, 4, 5, and 6 must happen. Does that make sense? So either the Chargers lose 2 of their 3, and then 3, 4, 5, 6 happen. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or both of them must happen if the Raiders have any chance whatsoever to make the playoffs. I know, there's a lot to follow there. A lot needs to happen. The most important thing you need to know, though, is if the Raiders win out, it puts them in a good shot. And then when you look at those scenarios, remember, for those of you watching tonight on Thursday Night Football, the Jets or Jags, one of those teams is going to lose. So here's the AFC playoff picture if the Jags win. The New York Jets and the Jags sit at 7-8. Let's say the Raiders then, they can win 7-8. I'm telling you what, the way that this whole picture just shuffles around, it does. It gets interesting. Now let's say the Jets win. If the Jets win, they go to 8-7. And then, as you can see, the Jags sitting down there at 6-9 and basically eliminating them from the playoffs. So when I took you through all those scenarios, I get it. A lot of different stuff there to look at. But one of the things that I also want to show you is the remaining schedules, right? Because the remaining schedules for all those teams that the Raiders are going to be going up against for the playoffs, I think it's important. For the Chargers, their final 3 games, not a lot of tough competition. I predict that the Chargers make the playoffs. And it's not because I believe in the Chargers. It's because I don't believe in the Colts, I don't believe in the Rams, and I definitely don't believe in the Broncos. Let's look at the Dolphins, though. The Dolphins don't have that easy of a path because the Dolphins on the road are terrible. So I actually could see them losing to New England. However, the Jets, that's a tough game. Which Aaron Rodgers are you going to get? Not sure. The Dolphins' final 3 games, though, that's not locked and loaded that they're going to make the playoffs. And then you got the Patriots' final 3 games. I mean, realistically, this could be all the losses. Let's say you maybe beat Miami because Miami, again, on the road is terrible. You're losing to the Bengals. You're losing to the Bills. So some of these teams that are above the silver and black, they don't have that easy of a stretch. The Jets' final 3 games. You got the Jags at Seattle, not an easy place to play, and then at Miami, not easy places to play. Plus, again, a lot of these teams that you're watching that are above the silver and black have to play each other. The Jags' final 3 games, the Jets, Houston, and Tennessee. I'm a big believer the Jags could be battling it out with Tennessee in Week 18 to decide that final spot. So because of that, I also wanted to show you all the Tennessee Titans schedule because I think that their schedule could also be important for the Raiders if, let's say, the Jags end up making it into the playoffs to get that wild card spot, and Tennessee, who's lost 4 straight games, Houston, Dallas, at Jacksonville. This opens up a lot for the Raiders to potentially squeeze their way in to the AFC wild card and get that 7th spot. It's not a high percentage chance, I get it. But you know what? There is a chance that the Raiders can make it. So coming up next here, y'all, on the Raiders Report, we're going to look at that Week 16 rooting guide. And it's more just, if you don't know who to root for, we got you. Don't worry. You're in the right place. So in terms of what games am I watching, I'm obviously going to be watching the Raiders and the Steelers game very closely. You need to watch Falcons at Ravens, Saints at Browns, Bengals at Patriots, Texans at Titans, Packers at the Dolphins is important, Chargers at the Colts. And the reason why I'm going to sprinkle in Bills at the Bears and Seahawks at the Chiefs is because these are the top 2 teams at 1 and 2. I'm wondering if there's going to be a scenario near the end of the season where the Chiefs, no matter what, can't jump the Bills and get that number 1 playoff seed, or they can't lose and go down to number 3 if the Chiefs maybe rest their starters Week 18 against the Raiders. We can hope after all, right? I mean, we can hope. I think we can hope at least. I don't know. So those are all the games, y'all, that I want you to end up watching. And hopefully, if you could, predict the winners of all those games above. I just want to see what you guys are picking. If anybody out there wants to compete against some of the Raiders GOATs, then you can also hit me up over on Locals at RaidersReport.locals.com. We do an NFL Pick'em Challenge every single week. My guy Aaron, he's been killing it. He won back-to-back weeks, which is a little bit frustrating because I hate losing. But hey, he's good at it after all. Stay up to date on Twitter, Instagram, MitchellRens365. If you do, you'll know that Rock Ya-Sin, he's not going to be playing this week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Raiders are hopeful that Alec Bars is able to go and Dylan Parham. But I got to show some love to Aaron. Keeps on winning our NFL Pick'em challenges. Salute him. If you want to challenge Aaron, Lord, Buddy Bear, and all the other GOATs over on Local, shout out to Brandon Jasper, Def Jasper. Scan that QR code right there. And I know a lot of people who are over on Locals are also on Mount Rushmore. So I appreciate David Zahn, Trivan, Raider on, Raiders Podcast, Wild 114. I know they're going to be rocking and rolling with me in Week 14. Also, some of the GOATs that I got to give some love to. We had a lot of bangers going on in the Raiders-Patriots game. Sweet Jazz, Steven Montanez, Matthew Schaefer, and Jay. What up, Mark, Trivan, Raider Ron, Wild 114 again. Johnny Silva, Hootie Lord, Raiders Podcast, Patrick B. I know that they're going to be joining our live show, and I hope that y'all join our live show as well on Saturday. So here's the Raiders rooting guide. If you see a logo, that means that that's the team that you should be rooting for. Raiders at Steelers. Steelers, 2.5-point favorites. Falcons at the Ravens. Root for Atlanta. Ravens, -7. Saints at Browns. Browns, -3 favorites. Root for the Bengals up against New England, -3.5 favorites. So that's really the only favorite team so far. Texans at Titans. Titans are the favorite. Packers at Dolphins. Dolphins are the favorite. Chargers at the Colts. F the Chargers, FLAC. If all those teams right there, okay, I know I just threw a lot of different teams at you. I get it. A lot of different stuff at you. If all that stuff happens, I'm sure you're curious of, hey, what are the Raiders' playoff chances? I'll tell you in just a second. But seriously, mark in your calendar, join Jeremy Chuggs and I for Raiders up against the Steelers. And if you're planning on joining us, spam FPIT down in the comments. I was chilling on my off day yesterday with Chuck, and I noticed that one of our Steelers fans here at Chat Sports, Jack Sperry, tried to call out the nation. He said Steelers Nation. That didn't sit well with me. So I need you and the rest of the nation to join me. All the real ones. FPIT. Let's kick some Steelers' butt. So the Raiders' playoff chances. Here we go. If the Raiders win, and remember, I am recording this before the Thursday Night Football game, so I'm going to give you both percentages. If the Raiders win and the Jags, Ravens, Browns, Patriots, Titans, Dolphins, Chargers all lose, and the Raiders win, your playoff chances then entering Week 17, 19%. If the Raiders win and the Jets, Baltimore, Browns, so on and so forth, all those teams lose, you go up to a 24% chance of making the playoffs. Hey, inch by inch, yard by yard. I know our percentages were very, very low last season. A. Macias says 19% chance. It's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. So that's what I'm going to hang my hat on. Hopefully the Raiders can end up making it in. That is your Week 16 rooting guide, though, for the Silver and Black.